So that's the story so far, and in a year with plenty of ups and downs in terms of weather, plans, life, it's great to see how fast the garden's grown, how fast it's all knitted together, and how it already feels like a tropical jungle garden even in its first year. It's definitely not finished yet, that was never the goal, there's areas that I haven't even touched, but I'm so excited to see the areas that I have done really start to grow this year and actually form the garden that I had in my mind. Standing here, surrounded by greenery, it really is hard to believe that just over 12 months ago, the garden looked like this. A complete blank canvas, only a few plants dotted in, and basically just grass. So in 12 months, it's gone from that to looking like this. Absolutely packed full of big leaved exotic plants, palms, bananas, tree ferns, all kinds of jungle plants, all combining together to really make it feel like a tropical garden. So typically the sun's just gone behind a cloud, but it's been a beautiful warm September day, and I just wanted to quickly show you a couple of my favourite areas in the garden, how I planted them to achieve this jungle effect, and a few ideas on how you can create a tropical garden at home, a garden full of colour, wildlife and amazing big leaves. Moving back a few steps then, and the first area that I wanted to share with you is this here, which I call the Tree Fern Avenue. It's basically the entrance to the garden at the minute, and it's a nice narrow passage alongside a brick shed, and the way that I've created that sort of jungle mystery in quite a long narrow garden is by having plants that hang over the paths. Everything's green and it really relaxes you as you walk in. All these green fronds towering over you, it's as though you're entering a different place. And for me, probably the easiest way of doing this is just having plants spilling over those edges. So further up the garden, I've got nasturtiums just gradually trailing over the stone paths. Here, I've got the ferns pushing against each other, towering over you. And walking under something like that, it really makes you feel like you're part of a jungle. Admittedly, these are plants I've looked after for years and brought them here. It was an absolute battle moving them, but I appreciate they're very expensive to buy at the minute. The specimen plants are not something you just buy in a whim, but you can certainly recreate this effect. Clumping bamboos like Fargesias are absolutely great because they grow so quickly, they're not expensive to buy, and they won't actually run like a lot of the other running bamboos potentially can do. So you can have a bamboo that sizes up really quickly, plant those either side of the path, mix in a load of other green plants. Like down here, I've got all kinds of different interesting foliage plants. The common thread is green, and I think as long as the colour's green, you can throw any plant in. Any leaf shape works, the more the better really. Ideally, some big leaves, but any kind of fern works so well. It really makes it feel like you're entering some sort of jungle paradise. Whilst having a big open garden with loads of sun is great, here a lot of the garden's shaded, and this bit is actually quite narrow, but instead of that being a challenge, being a problem, I've actually lent into that, and I've made it feel even more restricted with these really tall plants that blur the garden beyond it so you can't see what's around the corner. And shade planting is often seen as a problem for a lot of people. When you grow exotics, when you like this lush sort of look, it's certainly not a problem at all, and it's definitely an opportunity. Plants like Fatsia japonica thrive in the shade here. Scheffleras, which are hardy umbrella plants, they're absolutely fantastic, really tough, really hardy, and they certainly look exotic. And when you combine those with enough ferns to cover all the soil, then it certainly looks like a realistic, natural environment. Looking back at the area then, you can see in just over a year, it's gone from bare grass straight to this lush jungle paradise. And you don't have to have a big garden or a lot of time to create this effect in your garden. It's all about packing those plants in. It's all about the density of planting that really gives it that jungle vibe. And here in the garden, that jungle vibe is brought all the way through the year by the tree ferns and the bamboos, the hardy evergreen plants. The plants that look exotic, but in reality they're actually really tough, and in most places they'll stay green all the way through the year. When spring came round, I added some other plants to the area as soon as the last frost had been. So here I've got ricinus, which is a very fast growing annual with really big leaves. And I've used it to just weave in between those tree ferns and really keep that exotic vibe going. And at the far end there, I've used gingers, which have got amazing banana-like leaves. And at this time of year, late summer, they've got amazing flowers that bring incredible fragrance to the garden. But the key is really keeping it green and packing that foliage in. And if you notice, looking at this way, most of the plants you can see are those tree ferns. So you can create this sort of look on a smaller scale with lots of ground ferns. If you use lots of the same kind, repeat them through the garden, it instantly looks more natural and it looks like it's more tied together like a proper cohesive design garden. But really, pack the green in, go for all the other foliage plants that grab your eye, go for those evergreens, and you can create a jungle paradise that stays green for most of the year. The second area that I want to share with you is my jungle clearing. And as you pass through that tree fern avenue, it really creates a sense of mystery, like you're going on a journey. But here in the clearing, it's as though you've arrived. And the star of the show is this massive Gunnera Manicata. It's one of my favourite plants, and it puts out these absolutely massive leaves. They're over 2 meters across. It is a thirsty plant, it does need rich soil, but it rewards you with these absolutely huge leaves. And here, it certainly is a star of the garden, right in the middle, an absolute focal point, a centerpiece of the garden. And that's probably my top tip for this area. If you've got an area that you really want to add that tropical vibe, then have one plant that's an absolute statement piece. It could be a big palm, it could be a banana, it could be a Gunnera, or it could be a bamboo. But even in a small garden, if you think big and go big with one plant, one exotic plant, it just draws your attention instantly, and that whole garden becomes a jungle garden. You don't look too closely at the plants around it. So here, the Gunnera, it absolutely draws your eyes in. But as you walk around it, you find yourself just immersed in all this foliage. Really tall exotics, towering flowers, huge leaves. It's all part of the look and all plants I enjoy growing. But even if you don't want to go fully in on the whole tropical garden theme, even just using one plant, maybe a tetrapanax or a musabastu banana, something like that can bring so much impact. They're not expensive to buy in small sizes and they grow really quickly too. So why not give it a try? Thanks for watching today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos as I further develop the garden. And there's just so much planned, so many care videos, and also how I look after the garden in winter. It's definitely a challenge, but one that I think I've got a few tips that might help you. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.